colleges, talking to young engineers, telling about the future of engineering and what we can do for the country, for the planet, because of the climate change, because of the challenges that we have in designing, planning our infrastructure so that they are resilient, they are disaster resilient, they're climate resilient. That is a challenge that I would like all of you to recognize and equip yourself with the best solutions that we can give to the country. So it's a very long introduction. I'm sorry for that. But let me now go over to the second topic of my session today, which is how do we balance the domain knowledge with tech? When I mean tech, it could be AI, it could be any kind of a software, it could be any IT solution that you have, machine learning, the whole lot of tools that are available to you. And when I was discussing with Sunilji about what topics I could choose, this is something that both of us agreed because it's so relevant to all of you at whatever stage of your career you are, senior, junior, whatever it is. We're all grappling with this challenge on how do we marry tech with the domain knowledge that we have. Okay, let me just stop for a moment and ask Mahendranath whether the session is going okay. Are you all able to hear me or not?
Yes, ma'am. It is all going
Yes,
good.
ma'am.
We do not have any disturbances.
Okay.
Very
all
good,
right.
madam. Very good.
Yeah, thank you. So some of the engineers come to me and ask me, this AI is coming and a lot of these very easy to use software are coming. So what do you think about the future of core engineering, the civil, structural, electrical, mechanical, all these engineering career? What do you think about it? I go to universities, the students ask me, the faculty ask me, and there are even parents who come and ask me, what do you think about the future of engineering, about the jobs in this sector for our children? And I repeatedly tell them that if there is a secure job in the future, it is the jobs in the core engineering sector. I'll tell you why. One, because of the climate change, you need to design infrastructure and have your society as very resilient that it can face any challenge tomorrow, whether it is unseasonal rainfall, very intense rainfall, very high temperature or very low temperatures. The society and the country and the planet has to face it. And if we have to have all the infrastructure that can safeguard us against the elements, against the changing seasons, changing weather patterns, who will do that? Who will construct a bridge or a metro or a rail line today which will withstand the impact of climate change? And the answer is very, very evident. I don't even have to say that. It is the core engineering professionals that have to do it. Okay, there is AI, there are software, etc., but just use them to see that you're more efficient, you're more productive, etc. But don't substitute that to your domain knowledge, because you have to safeguard your domain knowledge. You have to be always in touch with your fundamental principles of engineering. That is the domain knowledge that you have to safeguard, fine tune it, brush it up, again, upskill yourself, be in touch with experts on what is going on in your industry. That is something which is unshakable. All of you agree with me that we look at engineers to build us homes, to build us airports, all the infrastructure. And just an engineer who has studied in computer science or has mastered AI or has mastered machine learning will not be able to do it because it doesn't have the domain knowledge. So that is how important it is that your knowledge of engineering, your knowledge of infrastructure building is so crucial to nation building. It's so crucial to the economy. And now we see every day in the media that because of AI, so many developers' jobs are going, so many coders' jobs are going. But how often do you hear that engineering companies are downsizing or laying off? I haven't heard at all. Whenever I hear, from my clients, it's only that they say we're not getting enough civil engineers, we're not getting enough mechanical, electrical engineers. Okay, so it is a narrative that we have to build. We have to tell ourselves as well as to the young generation that's coming into this core engineering that it is so important, that it's so critical. It's really at the core of our society, really at the core of our planet. Because not only do you have to have infrastructure, but it has to be green, it has to be sustainable, it has to be environmental friendly. So I'm very convinced that it is we who are having a great career, a challenging career, and we will be at the heart of a sustainable society. That's exactly why keep your domain knowledge very, very safe. Keep it nurtured, keep it growing, keep it nourished. How do you do that? Not only, of course, you will have to do a lot of things manually. Or when I say manually, I'm not saying, put down on a paper, which is good, really good. Because tomorrow, if the internet is not there or your whole IT system crashes, you still have to go back and design some things, right? So be in touch with that. Keep discussing with your seniors, with your juniors, with your mentors, and with your client. And going to the site is, I can't overemphasize how important it is for us to be on the site to understand how the construction goes on, whether my design is construction friendly. Does it have any challenges? What about the supply chain of materials? How do I take care that local materials are used, local labor is used, local technologies are used? So I think for each and everybody who is in the infrastructure sector, going to the site often, being in touch with the physicality of the project, you need to feel that and bring back that knowledge and fine tune your own solutions. Along the way, you do take care to take support from your softwares, IT, etc. No problem, but it is not a substitute for our domain knowledge. I would like you to just remember that. And I feel very, very strongly about it. And this is how I try and motivate the young engineers to come into core engineering sector. And I'm very happy to tell you that there are a lot of converters to this point of view. And at the end of the session, certainly I would like to hear from all of you. What do you feel about it? So, okay, that is in a nutshell on what I wanted to tell you about how do you balance your domain knowledge with tech. Let me now go to the final topic of my session. This is women in STEM leadership. And when I was thinking about it, and also observing all these years in the engineering sector, I have a feeling that most of us engineers, leave alone the women engineers, I'm talking about all engineers, we really don't think of ourselves as leaders. Okay, we think of ourselves as engineers, of somebody who can sit down and do the design, go to the site, etc., etc. But when we start growing in our career, we are compelled to manage a team, compelled to manage stakeholder relationships, and compelled to manage the commercial aspects of the project, which is very important. Because whatever designs we do, it costs your client something. The client needs to finance it and recover the investment. So as an engineer, we should not be distanced from understanding the whole aspect of a project. So when you understand all these aspects of the project, you're already a leader. But somehow we engineers don't think ourselves as leader. We always think leader is somebody who is going out, going to conferences, meeting, talking, etc. You need not be all that. When you're managing a project, when you're managing a team, you're managing your client, managing your budget, quality, cost, etc., you're already a leader. And that is the essence of leadership. So I would like all of you to think in those terms. Um, and when it comes to women in engineering, it's even more challenging for us. One, because in most of the the backgrounds that we all come from, sometimes we don't have the bandwidth to upskill ourselves, to compete with the best people in the industry, or to worry about, can I become a leader? Because we are so focused on being just a good engineer. I'm sure I don't have to explain to you the social background all of us women engineers come from, and how do we manage each day, because there's so many demands on our time, so many demands from our relationships, the children, the parents, and the whole lot of family expectations, etc. And this is where I would like to give you, all the women engineers who are listening to me, that it's not so difficult. It's not so difficult. What I did in my 40 years career, I come from a very, I would say, low middle class. My father was a farmer. My mother was a primary school teacher. But what my parents focused on was, whatever you do, excel in it. Do the best that you can do. Even if you write a small essay, that must be the best. Even if you sing a song in a competition, that must be the best. A small mail that you write must be very good. That is what I think is important for women to build their leadership in the engineering sector. That, because all of you have come through the same examination route, you have studied the same books, the same courses, you have passed the same examination. So how come we are not as competent as others? And most of the times I have felt that, not in most times, but every time, what counts is how well you perform, how well you deliver on your project. The client is not even worried whether it's a man or woman who is doing the design. So what I have focused on is just be the best that you can. And when I walk into any conference or any boardroom, etc., I've been a director for a long time now. It doesn't occur to me that I'm a woman or I have to behave like this, etc. You have to be just natural. You have to be your authentic self, because you have come through the grind. Like I said, same examination, same courses, etc. So do not doubt yourself that you will not be a good leader or you will not be a good engineer. And that is, I think, in a very brief way, that I would like to motivate you to think of yourself as doing more than what you are doing today, that you can do more tomorrow. And very recently, I was in Hyderabad speaking at a conference on, again, women in leadership. And they say, how did you face the challenge of site constraints? Okay. Even when I was studying in my college, I was the only girl amongst 72 boys. And I thought that I was never afraid of that. I used to sit on the front bench because I was in front of the lecturer and the professor. I had to be the best prepared person in the class. I had to always do my homework, always read beforehand, because the first question used to come to me. So that was an opportunity for me to really, and I was the topper. That was not a surprise, because you always had to be so prepared. But I didn't take it as a constraint. I took it as an opportunity. I said, let me excel, because I have to be the best prepared. And that became my second nature, that whenever I go, wherever I go, I do my homework, I do my preparation, I go well prepared. So there is absolutely no chance that I will worry about it. And even if something goes wrong, I'm after all human being. So and they go wrong with anybody, whether it's a man, woman, doesn't matter. So what I feel is give it a thought, see where are the constraints, and talk to your colleagues, whether it is female colleagues, male colleagues, everybody has the same challenges. And even your male colleagues have their sisters, mothers, daughters going to work, right? And they're far more empathetic, far more understanding than what we give them credit for. So make them your companions, make them your allies, and see how the miracle works. And for me, it has really worked. More than any women mentors, I've always had men as mentors. And Sunilji is one of them. I keep talking to him about some aspects. And my male colleagues have been very, very understanding, very cooperative. So let us give them credit and take that advantage of allyship, of advantage of collaboration, and build a better career for ourselves. And the second aspect is, I know there's a lot of this diversity talk that goes on. And that is something that we are Indians blessed with diversity. Cultural roots are so diverse. Our whole environment is so diverse, and we constantly balance diversity. We're never intimidated by diversity. So see that you nurture that diversity, be your authentic self, and be proud of your roots. And that is something that we can give to the whole wide world. So when you go on your global forums or you work for an international company, etc., I always feel very proud that I am an Indian, and that confidence also comes from because you have to navigate a whole complex environment in India. I doubt that any other country gives you such a complex environment because it's a great learning journey. If everything comes very easy, maybe we would not have really felt so satisfied about our career. So I think it's a wonderful time to be in India, wonderful time to be core engineers in India, and a wonderful time to be champions of diversity. So that is where I would like to end my session, and I'll be very happy to take questions. I'm not sure if I have touched upon aspects that you expected me to touch or not, but give me the feedback. And if there's anything else that you want me to talk about, or if you have any questions, I'll be very happy to take. Thank you.
I have a question from you for you.
Namaste.
Namaste. Yes, you. What made you choose engineering in the first place? Like you said, because from the background you come from, because that itself will be enlightening to a lot of young engineers, I'm sure. So, what made you choose engineering?
Yeah, it was actually a very small incident that we had a contractor in one of our neighborhoods, and I used to play with his children, and he used to take his children to the site on every Sunday. And then week after week, we used to see that the structure was going up and there was actually something coming up. And then the whole society would really appreciate, oh, he has built this, he has built that, and they were using it. Maybe it's a water tank, maybe it is a marketplace. And then, that filled me with wonder. I said, okay, even an average person can really work towards benefiting the society. That was one thing. When I came into the engineering college, again, there were 3-4 choices, and I never wavered because I related to the physicality of the project. I'm not much of a creative person. I cannot really imagine how electronics does, how electricity wave flows, etc. For me, what appealed is the physicality of the project. That what I conceive in my head actually comes on the ground, and my society uses it. My community uses it. My country uses it. And the more and more I see everywhere, the more I feel. However, I think the industry needs a better narrative because of the quality aspects, because of the sustainability aspects, etc. And that is what I look for as industry practitioners like you, Sunilji.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm sure, some of my lady colleagues here would definitely have, picked up a lot of inspiration from you because, while from our side, we are trying to get in more and more ladies to join our workforce. Yes, we are still not there, not to my liking at least. We are still at about 20% or so, but we'd like to make it higher. So hopefully with your talk, some of my colleagues should be able to encourage more of their friends to come in, I think.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
So on that, Sunilji, I just
Yeah.
forgot to add that, all the lady colleagues, I got married in between my MTech to a naval officer. I moved along with his job across the country. I had
Yeah.
2 children. I took break during those periods and joined back the workforce. And that didn't deter me at all because, like I said, you must perform, you must deliver.
Yes.
No questions asked.
True. I think that's very well said. Yes. I think that's the line that yes, irrespective of once you've chosen a career, you have to perform.
Yeah.
That's something I think. Yes. Thank you.
We have Manoranjan.
Yes,
Can you
yeah.
please come in.
Sir, you're on mute.
Having heard you and about your career and your spread of experiences, I would like to understand which one
Yes,
of them was the most challenging and how did you manage those challenges at the workplace?
Yeah, thank you. So 2 challenges. First of all, this project again, the Mumbai Metro Line 1. That was a very challenging project at the workplace because the expectations of the stakeholders were so high. And the complexity of the stakeholder community, everybody wanted to have their say, especially when we didn't have the utilities, on the alignment route. We had to struggle a lot with the municipal corporations, with the MMRDA, with MSRDC, because everybody wanted to have a say in it. And then there was expectation because there was first time privatization on the metro side. That was one. And second, internally, my boss, Anil Ambani, hard taskmaster. Hard taskmaster.
True.
Every Tuesday morning, we used to have meetings with him, and he used to get the information from 10 different sources. And you had to be even better than that because he used to counter what happened to that quality, why this is failing, what about your joint venture partners, all these things. So, and that was, I think, the most challenging part. And how I handled it was, we used to have a really heart-to-heart talk with, my team, my peers actually, because there were people heading the electrical side, the rolling stock side, etc. I was from the civil and structural side. So we used to sit together and said, this is a challenge and how do we manage it? And they were really good. Like I said, great collaborative spirit. Once you open up and show your vulnerability to people, they will come out and try and support you because there's no ego in this. Ego is something that I just leave outside the door whenever I go to any project or meeting. And when people see that you are really in need of help, there will be help coming.
I hope what you have spoken and talked about gives inspiration to the team which is available at BARSYL.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, since
Team,
nobody is
does
asking
any-
any more questions, I have one more question.
Boliye, sir.
Yeah. Now, it's quite prevalent in India to be, people find, especially males, find it difficult to have a lady boss. So I'm sure you would have also faced that challenges. It's a reality, though things are changing, but even today, and especially in a very male-dominated industry like civil engineering, especially in the construction side and things like that. So how did you face such situations, and how did you handle that particular problem?
I have faced this many times, almost every time that, I was leading something or people were reporting to me. I think one of the traits that we women have, that we are very sensitive to moods in the room. Okay. We understand immediately if a person is not cooperating with you or if there is some game that is going on, etc. I think we pick up that signal very, very quickly. That is one thing. Secondly, like I said, I always leave my ego out of the door. Never bring ego to the workplace, because you're doing a project, and project is the only, I actually treat it like my temple, the workplace. Though old fashioned, very, old school type, but I bring that sense of worship to the workplace. And I say, it's the project that is the ultimate, and neither your ego nor my ego should come in the way. But that is easier said than done.
True.
Sometimes with, I think, how I have handled men is to be their confidant, to be their friend. And I do not hesitate to ask personal questions about their family, etc. I actually make friends with their family. I meet their wives or children. I call the children to the offices to build a bond, understand what they are doing, etc. And then those barriers fall away, because there's a deeper bonding. So leaving ego out of the door. Secondly, saying that, this is what my honest intent is, that we must work on the project and deliver it. And thirdly, try to build deeper bonds, which again comes to very naturally to women. Deeper bonds. And I think that has helped me a lot. And I have been very strict with people, because I can't stand incompetency. I can't stand inefficiency. I've been very strict with people, but with the honest intent of the client requirement. There is no hidden agenda. It's nothing to humiliate anybody or anything like that. So as long as your purpose is honest, I think people also will recognize that.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
R.K. Chaudhary ji?
Good afternoon, madam. I'm R.K. Chaudhary. I'm a retired railway engineer, and have been in industry for more than 40 years, 42 years now. So I heard your experiences. It is very enlightening and very informative and very encouraging and motivating rather. So I would like to know, since you have worked in the core construction industry and then came to the consultancy now. So how do you compare or what difference do you find changing from the core construction industry to the consultancy?
So I mentioned in my talk about advising GMR for the privatization of Mumbai and Delhi airports. I was their consultant in Mott MacDonald, and I was advising a potential operator of airports. And for them, it was new. For us as consultants, it was new. The aviation sector was new. And during those discussions, Mr. Rao, who was monitoring the progress of the bid preparation, etc., I was sitting in Hyderabad for 4 months. He used to say that, Vidya, as a consultant, you must appreciate the pain points of your client. How are they going to operate it? How are they going to finance this project? And how your design can help it. He said, if there's an opportunity, you join an operator company and understand what your design means on the ground, what it means to go with that design to a bank and ask for financing. So I think these learnings, I worked with a contractor, with an operator, developer, consultant. So you need to have, that's what I mentioned, that you need to have the overall picture of your project and draw it back into consultancy. But you cannot be distanced from the ground realities of a developer or an operator. As a consultant, we must understand what are the constraints on the ground for implementing it, for earning the revenue, because somebody has to pay back those loans. If as a consultant, I'm unable to give a design which is optimum in terms of cost, quality, time, then I'm not really a good consultant. That's one thing. Second, the pressures on a consultant are actually very real. That, can you do the traffic forecast like this? Can you do the design like this? I think that's again another area where we need to sit with the client, discuss and say, I can go this far, no further. That's another point. I think we must all take a stand in order to improve the narrative of our industry. Client should never feel that I can tell the consultant anything and she will give. No, she will not give. I'm consultant for a reason. Again, Chaudhary ji, people will take you like you take yourself.
Yeah, true.
If you respect your expertise, naturally your client will respect. And until now, nobody has pressurized me as a consultant, do this, do this, do this. So I think it is up to us also to maintain our dignity and esteem and in our expertise. But I'm sure there's a lot to be done in the consultancy industry about improving our narrative.
Madam, after my retirement from railways, for last 5 years, I'm in the consultancy company now. And I find it is becoming rather sometimes difficult to make the balance between the client and the contractor, because consultant is in between a in the role of engineer.
Yeah.
So basically, client want maximum to extract from the contractor, and contractor wants to give the minimum.
Yeah.
And the whole pressure comes on the engineer, means the consultant, to make the balance. So how you have been managing that kind of situation?
Like I said, sir, there are situations where you can go this far. You can accommodate some views. Okay. But if it is blatantly wrong, I think we should take a tough stand. And I'm not sure if you're following the story of Sistra and MMRDA in the media nowadays.
And there have been, I was just going to quote this example to you now.
There have been other stories also.
Yeah.
There have been other stories also. So in the short term, it looks like we are losing, but I think in the long term, we will gain by standing our ground. And of course, Sunilji, you will also appreciate that so many times the traffic forecast that some of the consultants gave have really gone haywire.
Absolutely.
And those projects have fallen flat.
True.
So do we want to contribute to such projects and destroy the positive narrative? Otherwise, how will you even attract young engineers to come to your industry?
Exactly.
So there are hard situations, I'm sure. I have also lost sleep many times. What can I do? What can I do? But you can just go that far. And if it is not really aligning with your values, with your way of working, your organizational values, what I'm saying. And even if I think you will have to escalate the matter to the board or to your boss and take him in the loop. This is what it is. Because such situations cannot be handled alone. And in India, it is very tough. I have gone
very
through
tough,
all that.
very tough.
Very tough. And maybe that's another advantage. With the lady, they will not say all these things.
True.
Thank you so much, madam, for answering the questions. Thank you so much for interaction. Thank you.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Okay. Sunilji, I'm not sure if it was useful at all for your people or not.
Thank you, Vidya. No. I think it is. In fact, okay, Vinila, yeah, one of our senior most lady colleagues here. Yes.
Please come.
Yeah, I'm a civil engineer. I can say of 2 decades. I'm totally inspired by your speech. I feel somewhere women are not in the civil field actually.
Why do you think that?
Because you can see the number, ma'am. That itself is a projector, actually, I can say. But after listening to you,
that is exactly why the responsibility on us seniors is more.
Yeah.
I never used to go and talk about these things. And one of my bosses called and said, you must go and talk about these things. So there's a role model for youngsters. And I thought I was being immodest if I speak about myself, etc. You can still be modest and showcase your expertise and provide a role model. I think that's our responsibility for the younger women engineers. Vinila ji, please do it more and more.
Yeah, we are trying our best, ma'am, but still we are inspired by your speech.
Thank you. Should we conclude, Sunilji?
Yes, yes, ma'am. I think we do not have
Okay,
any
thank you so
further
much,
question.
madam. Nice,
No,
nice.
thank you,
talk.
Vidya. Thank you so much, because I feel that yes, this is one topic which very few people openly discuss. You brought that to the fore, so that was very good. In fact, coming in from a person who's actually gone through is actually very, very inspiring, not only for my lady colleagues, but even for people like us. It's very inspiring to know that. And the commitment you showed towards the engineering consulting profession is something which I think is very heartwarming, and a lot of youngsters who've joined recently into our organization can actually take heart from
Yeah.
that yes,
Yeah.
there is, this is a good profession to be in, which is what
Yeah.
I also always try to promote. That's yes. And what I liked about your whole thing was that yes, unless you actually put your heart and soul and go out on the field, consultant or contractor doesn't matter, but to be a good professional, I think that line of yours was very, very true, that unless you see what's happening,
Yeah.
you can't advise. So I think that is a great learning. You put it so succinctly. Very nice. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, all of you.
Thank-
Have a
Thank you.
great future in this organization. Sunilji, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you, ma'am.
Bye.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank